Alright guys, welcome back. This is another video about the restoration of the Fordson Standard 1940. This is one that you might have seen my other videos when I dragged it out from a holly hedge. This is it so far. As you can see, there's quite a lot going on at the moment. I'm just in the process of cleaning out the sump. The sump hasn't been off the tractor at all. I'll just show you the sump. So that is the sump removed. I don't know if any of you know, but these tractors do not have an oil pump. Basically what happens is you've got the strainer down here and the oil wells back down into the strainer pan, goes through the strainer, comes through this draw hole here into the flywheel bell housing area, and then the flywheel basically has a type of impeller on the back of the flywheel which you can't see. And basically it splashes the oil round inside the bell housing area, and at the top of the bell housing around here there is like a paddle scoop, to a better words, and then this scoop collects the oil that is being splashed around inside the flywheel housing, and then it comes along the bottom of the engine in a steel tube. Let's see if I can show you. A bit tricky getting under here again. Right, so you can see here. This is our crankshaft going round. That's the centre main bearing, and there is the front main bearing, and that there then is your timing gear, which takes off your drive to the magneto. And you can see here this steel hose. This steel hose here runs the oil down to the front main bearing, and where it goes to the centre bearing, which is a bit hard to see, you can see there it goes above the centre bridge of the block. Well, in there is two holes drilled in that pipe, which then correspond with two holes in the top of the centre bridge, which dribbles down and feeds your main bearing in the centre. As for your crankshaft lubrication on the actual conrods, all you've got is these little dippers on the end of the main caps, which basically they splash down into them little weld areas in the sump. Just try to get you to see this one. You can see there, and that's obviously hollowed out in the direction of the rotation of the crankshaft, so it pushes oil up into the big end cap and lubricates the white metal shells, and that's basically all you've got in the lines of lubrication on a Fordson Standard. So it's pretty critical that these areas are clean. As you can see by mine, there's been a lot of moisture trapped inside the sump and the bell housing area, which has been an absolute nightmare to clean out, but we're getting there. I'll just show you these wells in the actual sump. So you see this area here, that's for your front number one, well sorry, in fact it's your number two. So this there is your number two big end lubrication, bit of a, should we call it a well. So that's where the dipper is coming down into here and circulating round and back up again. It collects oil. Same for your centre two and your number four, which is back there, which is located above the oil strainer. Now it is critical on these. The dipstick is located obviously on the bell housing area, and the dipstick has a high and a low. Now when you're actually on the low, the oil is sitting around here, and when that oil is sitting around there, there's no oil in here, so you're not getting any lubrication to your big end caps. So it's critical that you maintain the oil level to the full level, because if you don't, you're going to struggle with lubrication to the caps and before you know it, it's going to start knocking. As it is at the moment, this one, as you may see in my other videos, is running pretty sweet. It's not knocking. There doesn't appear to be any excessive crank free end float in it. It all seems pretty good. Since the last videos, I've changed the belt pulley over. So I don't know if you remember, on the other ones there was an old car flywheel bolted to the back of it, and there was a bracket here, and somebody had devised an electronic car starter motor to start it. Pretty unsightly, I thought, to be honest with you. And I've also fitted a PTO unit. I got a PTO unit on another tractor that I bought, basically for the tin work for this one, because as you saw before, the tin work was really bad. So this were on it, so I thought, well, we'll have a bit of that, so I put that on, and that's going on. So this is a PTO driven winch. You may be familiar with the look of that one. It is a Hesford. It's a 3-point mounted version. Obviously the internal gubbins, the main winch drum, brake, the clutch, the reduction drive is all the same as the original old Hesford, which would have been fitted on the Fordsons back in the day. So I'm going to strip this one back and get it fitted onto the back of this one. Obviously there's some work to modify the handles for the clutch engagement and the brake engagement, because they're totally in the wrong place and would be rather uncomfortable. So there's some brackets to be made there to obviously house it onto the back of the tractor, which you get to be done. We just sat it there roughly, obviously it's still suspended, just sat it there to see what we're going to be like for shaft alignment, and it's all good. We've got the new tyres fitted. Got these, a friend of mine, Firestones. Nice tyre. Don't think they look too slim on the rim. They do finish flush with the ends. They're not. The rim's not protruding like some are. Obviously we've got the header tank and the radiator core fitted. This came off another tractor that I got for some spares. Unfortunately, engine was seized and beyond repair really on that one. But so it's got these lovely rare ladder type radiator blind holders. Now this one should have down here, mounted in there, should be like a blind, a sprung loaded blind, and it pulls up and hooks in. So I'm going to have to make something to make it look right. So obviously I don't want to be painting it. I'm going to be leaving it exactly as it is. Obviously just give it a bit of a pressure wash, and then it's going to be covered in Owatrol just to maintain the level of rust that there is at the moment, because I think it looks pretty nice. It's all in keeping with its age. So that's all we've got to report really so far, but I'll keep you updated with everything else that's going on. You see, well, we've done a bit of work on the tank. The front edge where it fastens up under the edge of the radiator header here, as you can see, they've got some of the original it's like a canvas type belt, which is supposed to stop it wearing through the tank, I suppose, and rattling and vibrating. It's trapped all the moisture in there, and basically we had a hole about 3/4 of an inch strip rotted all the way over from one side to the other. So I've got a little bit of 18th gauge steel, put that in there, welded it in gently as we can with the MIG, ground it back a bit so it doesn't look too bad, and then the best thing I can do with that is we're going to do an internal tank sealer, which is going to obviously put a coating on the inside of the tank, which will affect any slight leaks that we've got going on here. It'll seal it up. And we did start looking at the other end, and we found we've got some pitting which may start leaking. I'll look at the other side's a bit worse. And this one has got some holes. Again, it's where the band's been over and the cloth's been fixed, it's trapping the moisture. So I'm going to try put a nice little bit of like a chemical metal in there, just to fill the hole where it'll be under the band and it won't be visible, and then put the internal tank sealer in, which will seal up the hole, cover up the rust, stop any further problems, but it'll also maintain the look of the tank, because I don't want to, because it's got some traces of the original paint. It's not rotten, you know, the top of it's nice. It's got the original instruction plate still fixed. It's a nice tank. It's a nice tank. I want to try to keep it, and obviously it goes perfectly in fitting with that, because it's from, you know, that tank and that header is off the same tractor. You know, the end's nice. It's on the dashboard end, not rotten. So I want to try to save it. I don't want to put. I have got another tank, this one here, but this one's had a lot of repairs previously. It's had the actual outlet brazed up and a nut of some description stuck on. The other one's been brazed and soldered as well. And there's also the neck of that one has been heavily soldered also. And it's not as nice as that. I think that one looks better. So hopefully all the repairs that we need to do are going to be out of sight. So we put them back under the header, put the new strip on there, the new canvas strip, get a little bit of acid on here, which will let that corrode. So hopefully you won't see it too much. It'll look good enough. So that's the plan. Got the toolbox on now. Toolbox, I got that on eBay. We're a good find. It was totally covered in primer, and all I've done with it is I've nitromosed it gently away and just used a fine scourer, which has taken it back, and it's left me this lovely, nice, rusty, but yet not too clean finish, which again, you know, a little bit of weathering, but you can see inside it's nice and solid. It's a nice box. So a little bit of weathering, that'll come out looking well. It'll suit the rest of the tractor. So that's about all I've got to report. Just got a bit more to do, obviously, on the tank side. I'm just about to try to put the sump back together. It's all cleaned out now. It's just need to put some new sealant on the gaskets and such like when we get it back in, and she should be good to go. So like I say, keep watching, keep subscribed, click like, and come back and watch some more catch up videos on the Fordson restoration. Thanks for watching, guys.